Good day to y'all. It's Friday. It's about 12:30, something like that, pushing 1 o'clock. Hope everybody's doing well. It is, I said it is Friday, and it's the last Friday of May. So the year's almost half over already. Hope it's been a good year for everybody so far. The past week was an interesting week for me. The weather got nice, and we even hit a 90-degree day. I think it was on Tuesday. So I left the house, went for my walk, went down to Point State Park, which is near my apartment, sat in the sunshine, let my skin get roasted a little bit. I don't know if you can tell how lovely and tan I am. But yeah. So things are going okay. I think the other thing I ran into this week was, I talk about social distancing, and then I also add mental distancing. And I think this week I need to add another one, which is asshole distancing, because I keep running into assholes. Of course, it could be that I'm the asshole and they're not, but I doubt that. I own up to my stuff. I could get into what it was, but we're here to have a little bit of fun and enjoy ourselves. I guess I'm the kind of guy who, when I get things under my skin, I just, I want to do something about it. But when you deal with assholes, you have to learn that nothing you can do about it except shut the fuck up, which is hard for me to do. Anyway, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. The hair check. This is where we are. There's a little confrontation of colors going on up there. I thought today maybe I would read you a poem about changes that happen in your life. Oftentimes changes maybe you didn't want to participate in, but you did anyway, because you thought that was the right thing to do. And this poem is the first poem I wrote years ago now, when I moved to Las Vegas. When I look back now, it seems so far away, and at the same time it seems right within my fingertips. And to say my time out there was a disaster would be an understatement, But it's one of those Zen things you run into. Had I not gone out there, would I have written the poems that I wrote while I was out there? I managed to write 3 volumes of poetry in the 6 years I was there. So is that worth the shit I went through? Who knows? It's the way life is. Life is life. And so today's poem was the first one that got me into this. And I didn't plan to write this, I just wrote it. I was reading Tricycle magazine. I don't know if it's still around. I guess it is. I used to subscribe to it, and they had a story about this guy who came to America, this Buddhist monk. And I extrapolated some information from there, and I thought it pertained to me because this was my poem about leaving my land and going to a new land, and the stuff I thought about other people, things like that. it's pretty self-explanatory. It starts out sort of like with a kid's um, description, a childlike description, I should say, of the desert. The desert's a beautiful place. I got to tell you that. And it's never more beautiful than in the springtime when all the cacti bloom and the little flowers you didn't know were there bloom and all that stuff. So it's a poem about entering a new land, mentally, spiritually, physically, things like that. The title, what can I tell you about the title? Listen, I spent a lot of my life working on telephones, doing telephone work for banks, for insurance people, for all kinds of stuff. And I always found people's names. I was a collector of weird names. And this guy's name was one of them, Desaint Andriu. I thought, well, that's a cool name to have. Someone says, what's your name? And I say, my name is Desaint Andriu. Yeah. The other thing, too, and this has nothing to do with the poem or anything, but I'm sitting on a pillow only so I can be, visible from the neck up. I'm also dead from the neck up, but that's a different story. But when I only bring this up because when I did it, it flashed me back to when I would go to my uncle's house, and I was tiny, still am, but I was a shrimpy kid, too small to sit at a chair and eat at the table, so they stuck me on the I guess it was the Pittsburgh phone direct, Yellow Pages, because it was a real thick thing, and I would sit there and eat my dinner. That's how I feel now. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm staying in. This is Friday. I won't leave the house again until Sunday for a lot of reasons. But I hope everybody's feeling well. I hope everybody's still being cognizant of the fact that we still are in a situation that is kind of infectious, as they say. We've had about 10 more infections over the past couple of days, so wear your mask when you walk your fucking dog, would you? Anyway, I don't want to get grouchy. Today's poem is called Good for You, Desaint Andriu. That's a cactus. That's a flower, huh? The desert in sanzen. But what does it mean in dreams to have my ear cut off or to be wearing no pants? In waking hours to go into a grocery store and see something called chocolate-covered ernies. The mallow and dodder accept our names like andolinos and the coreleones, or even ZEPP to ZEPP. There is no mysticism in the desert. It's zen. The lizard scrapes along the orange rock, giant to me from yards away. The white skylark rental, the full moon of April, the sacred datura opens its ajna or yoni, while burros, the Buddhas of the mojave nosh on the lush of the moonlight. My friends in Pittsburgh worry, like those who said adieu crossing the Bering Strait, or left Japan and landed in Peru in 3000 BC, where Jews sang fuck off to the Romans during the 1st century, finding refuge in the Tennessee Valley, or Leif Erikson. More precisely, Hui San, a Chinese Buddhist who reached the West Coast 900 years before Columbus. And for what benefits did he risk a Pacific voyage? Not for cardamom, cumin, or rubies. Rebelling against the rigors, meditating with rocks in his head or the paroxysmal scriptures. Be concerned that I may grow porcine from too much Mexican cuisine, not having seen the flower of the fusong tree. How could I forget? Well, that's it, dudes. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And evildoers beware.